In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Daewoo 12-litre digital rotisserie air fryer oven. Now it says that it can be 63% cheaper to run than your conventional oven, though it has a double asterisk there, so that may be in certain cases. Other things that it says that it can do: it can bake, air fry, dehydrate, roast and much more. It has a larger capacity than your traditional air fryers, more oven-like features. It comes with a rotisserie, a mesh basket, a drip tray, a handheld tool and 3 mesh trays. And this is basically the picture of the box on the side of what it looks like. Again, a few information of what it can do, 90-minute timer and the power consumption there at the bottom. So here you can see the Daewoo digital air fryer in comparisons to a microwave and its general size, and comparing it to a toaster as well, and you can see it is very big indeed. Now it's to the edge of the worktop because you have to have 9 inches ventilation gap at the back for the fan, and as you can see, compared to a toaster and a microwave, it is very large indeed. Now compared to the Scoville digital air fryer, check out the previous video on our channel if you want to see that, and you can see that it is bigger in every aspect as well. But then again, it is 12 litres compared to the 4.2 litre Scoville digital air fryer. And this is the control panel of the digital air fryer. It has the on button, you can press it on, temperature on the left, your presets which you can actually select individually, unlike the Scoville digital air fryer, the light which I'll show you later, and of course the timer on the right hand side. As soon as you stop pressing the display, after a few seconds it starts up by itself, so there is no start or pause button on this, unlike the Scoville one. And now this is the air fryer's door that is open, and you can close it. Now with the first time you open it, it does stop at this angle here, which is a bit of a safety feature. You do have to pull it down a bit to get it to fully open, so the first time you may think it is not working properly, just a little bit of extra force is needed. This is the inside of the capacity, so you can see the drip tray at the bottom. I've put in 2 shelves here, and this is the 3rd shelf going in, so you can see the spacing. The top shelf has the most space and it gets less and less each shelf down. In the middle is where the rotisserie would go. So here I've made some homemade chips, as I did in the last experiment, to see how well this microwave oven digital air fryer can handle food. And in the final tray I've put some frozen burgers, so you can see 2 trays of chips and a burgers tray there in the digital air fryer, and how that looks with the space being taken up. So once you close the door, you press the on button to get it started, selecting the preset here, done chips at 200 Celsius. You can of course change the temperature even on a preset, so that it's not fixed, and you can adjust the time. So I've done 200 at 15 minutes here, and we'll see how the chips perform. Now there's no start or pause button on here, so as soon as you stop touching the display after a few seconds, it just starts by itself. Now the air fryer does have a built-in light, much like an oven, where you can view the food and see how it's doing with the light feature. So here I turn the light on, and as you can see, it turns on in the corner, left hand corner there, and this is with the light off, and you can see it makes a slight difference, but the problem I find is the glass is very reflective at the front, which makes viewing very difficult in a well lit scenario. Now unlike the smaller digital air fryers with the basket, you do have to use oven gloves here, and much like an oven, you do get a steam cloud that comes out, which I'm not a really good fan of. And the other gloves can get greasy if you've got extra oil. So here I've done 1 tray with extra oil on the chips and 1 tray without extra oil on the chips, and what happens is the oven glove of course gets very greasy, and that transfers to the device. Now once the air fryer completes its cooking, it turns to the off phase, where it says off on the display. It keeps running for a few seconds before it beeps a few times and turns off. Now this is what the chips looked like just before they were done. A few of them not cooked, a few of them cooked, so they did have to go in for another 5 minutes before completing. And my advice would be to preheat before doing any cooking, that way you don't get this problem. Now, one problem is that bottom shelf with oven gloves is very difficult to get out of, which can be a bit of a problem. And there's the top shelf with the burgers, and they are very much done as well. And this was the end result of the chips. You can see very crispy indeed, and well cooked on the outside. Now, one of the problems I found with the wire mesh trays is that the burgers, unfortunately, on the underside weren't as crispy as they were on the top, which meant that removing them resulted in some of them getting stuck in the tray. And I think that will happen with anything that's breaded or of a similar nature, that's frozen, that's soft. It might get stuck in the wire mesh tray, which may make removing or turning over very difficult. And that's unfortunate because this is an air fryer, and the reason for the mesh trays is to allow air to circulate, but it does mean certain things may get a bit stuck in the trays themselves. Now, this air fryer has its advantages and disadvantages compared to the smaller air fryer that I've reviewed on the channel before. Its larger capacity means you can cook more food in there. It's got more features like the rotisserie and the mesh basket, which make it a more versatile air fryer than the smaller one. It's probably also better for baking and doing things like that. But because of the wire mesh shelves, some things may be difficult to do. I don't like how low down the bottom shelf is to the drip tray. That can be difficult to remove with a oven gloves on. Also, it is a lot larger, so this takes up a lot of space. I also think the design of this is very boxy, and it's not as good as the curvatures of the Scoville air fryer, so maybe a different design may have been better. Also don't like it doesn't have a pause and start button compared to other air fryers. It just starts as soon as you stop pressing the display, which is a bit of a minor inconvenience. I do like that you can select the individual presets by themselves, whereas the Scoville digital air fryer you had to press a button to cycle through them. This you can just press the individual presets by themselves. Noise wise, it's the same as the Scoville, not much louder, I feel. Performance wise, it performed okay. I would say because it's larger, you definitely need to preheat before using the cooking features, so about 3 to 5 minutes of preheating and then putting in your food to cooking will give you better results. Because it is larger, it is going to take a longer time to get up to temperature. But so far, this digital air fryers, my opinions on it, obviously it's larger capacity, which is good as well. I don't kind of like the way the door opens. It gets a bit stuck and you do have to use a bit of extra force to open it. That's not something I like. Also don't like when you do open the door, a big steam cloud does come out. I didn't find I had the same issue with the Scoville basket smaller air fryer. But yeah, I'll be using this a little bit more and seeing how it performs over a couple of days and seeing what else you can do in this digital air fryer. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe on our channel. It really does help, guys. And check out the previous Scoville digital air fryer video on our channel. Make sure you enter our competition. All you have to do is subscribe. It's free. You can look at the description, comment section down below, which explains more about our competition. So until the next video, take care and have a good one.